Yo, what's going on, guys? And welcome to our week one power rankings for the season four of the VDL. So, today, right now, I've got Ted with me. Say what's up.
Going on, guys?
And then we're gonna have Goomer join us at any moment. He said just make a start without him. And then Goomy might turn up or might not. He said he's gonna be late, but he might turn up. So, what the plan is to just go through all the matches from the first week, have a little analysis of them, what we thought of them, and then that's basically it. With predictions, we're just going to refer to the predictions channel in the Discord
What
rather
about that?
than
Um,
tally and everything.
okay.
So,
Let me just take now.
looking at the week one games, did we want to start with the premiere, your premiere, Ted? We were lucky enough to have
Yeah.
two premieres this week. Let's make a start with yours.
Okay. Um, yeah, it's a pretty interesting game. I Going into this game, I knew it's going to be really tricky. Is Reggie Lucky plus pinch cushion is really scary. Boosting up into lucky type moves by a whole lot, and Reggie Lucky basically outspeeding all my mons is a big deal to deal with. So that's my main focus going into team building and going into the game. Uh, and obviously from the vid that all you guys saw, that was not the case.
He didn't bring it.
Um, yeah, the Porygon 2 was actually the main threat here, bringing the physical Porygon 2, which threw me off by a whole lot. Um, Having the Iron Tail and maxing Porygon 2 as well, getting those defensive boosts was really troubling. Again, game one, um, basically nullifying my reflect and Grimmsnarl.
So
Um,
I
yeah,
missed I missed game one. I was late to the premiere.
yeah,
Was the Frostmoth like Ice Scales EV ready to take the attacks
yeah.
from Reggie
I
Lucky?
skills max HP, max special attack, and four in I think special defense it was.
So
So
that was
yeah, and I have focus sash on it, so it can take at least one hit.
all right. So it was built to take
Didn't do
on
a lot. So
Reggie Lucky, right? I mean, that's kind of the out there thing we expect from Lucian, really, to max Porygon 2.
yeah, I mean, I was expecting something weird, totally weird, but not maxing Porygon 2. That Yeah, like I said, it threw me off a little bit. And for game two, it was I adjusted really well leading Quagsire and no, not leading Quagsire, leading Lydon and Grimstar, I believe it was. Um, Lowering its attack first before getting its download boost. So even out the stat changes helped a lot. And then bringing out Quagsire for the game was really clutch, ignoring his stat boost.
Oh yeah, I know where Quag. Yeah, yeah. I mean, he brought in
But
Scraggy
I
as well.
still,
So
yeah, I still managed to lose. Um, Again, not targeting the Kofi was uh,
oh yeah,
was bad on my part.
letting him heal himself up was what finished you in the end, really, wasn't it? I was there for
Yeah,
that part. So I
yeah,
mean, tough start for yourself, but long off
yeah.
season.
I always expect to go on one. Is not a huge surprise for me.
All right, so it was a good game though, from what I saw. Any cool game too, but like Porygon 2, just crazy, maxing it. Good stuff from Lucian. Um, we'll talk about the other premiere now, which was my game against the Monobug Baptista Butterfreeze, because we managed to play our game early. We had a premiere last
Yeah,
week. Um, I'll talk a little bit about my prep. So I knew that Pheromose's speed swap was like a massive threat with Vikavolt or Scavalier. I was worried big time about that. So I had to go for the Scarf dual wing beat on Zapdos, which was like risky because of the accuracy, but I had to go for it. And game one, it is what happened with the Pheromosa lead. Managed to knock it out and surprise him game one, and I managed to just sweep 4 game one, which I was happy about because like taking out the Pheromosa, and then I max like and Rock Fall to get the sand up to double my spec def, and then I had a Berry on top of that. So Bikeable went for the flash cannon, the max still spike into me, so it just did like no damage, and then I was able to just sweep him from there.
Yeah,
Game
from what I could tell from game one, Left and Right easily had a great matchup. Setting up what it was it. Wait, did it have weakness policy or
no, at the Berry Berry
oh, okay, yeah,
because
the
I was
very well. Anyways, it was a you had a really good lead from what I can tell from game one. Uh, yeah, it's just my take on
Did
it.
you guys
Go ahead.
rag on me enough yet?
we're only on Ted's talked about his game and I'm now talking about my game. Goomer is here, the one who
Awesome.
gooms. Um, yeah, game two and three in my match was a lot more interesting, a lot more tight. So I kind of misplayed. I feel like a couple of times in game two and three, with the Doppler Volcarona lead. Um, I was lulled into a false sense of security with getting the high roll. It seems game one and knocking out the Volcarona with the wing beat. Because then in game two it didn't kill it and it managed to get the trick room off. But then in hindsight, I don't think it mattered. I think trick room was always going up unless I got a rock slide flinch. But then I didn't even click rock slide, so that allowed him
Hmm.
to get trick room up, and it was still pretty tight. But he managed to take game two, and in game three I decided to bring the Lipard instead of the reboot, and Lipard just didn't work with the burning jealousy, managing to I caught him once with a max guard on the scarf zap loss. I had coaching because I thought on an Excavalier lead, I might want to coach my Lycan Rock with like a +1 defense and the Berry Berry. Like I thought I'd take like a massive hit and then be able to max flare it back. Um, but yeah, game three was
Hmm.
tight as well. But then Leopard coming in at the end and picking up 3 kills. He said, "I am not a support mon," and picked up 3 kills and
Yeah,
managed to beat the
good.
bug team, which I was like super
Yeah,
worried about.
I feel like if he had a little bit more defense, I felt like he could have survived the burning jealousy from my part. Not so sure. I haven't done any calcs for that, but I'm pretty sure he could survive a burning jealousy if he had a little bit more defense into
Well, I
his
mean,
I think Doubtler or maybe Vicalolt maybe.
the Doppler was like in the red and took a burning jealousy
Yeah.
and a rock slide in the same turn and died. And then the Excavalier and Vikavolt were both in very low red, so the burning jealousy just knocked them both out on the last turn of the game. But
I think you should have rocks, honestly. You use the Goomer strat and just set up rocks. Would have done a ton.
yeah, it could have.
Eh, yeah, it
One
depends
thing.
on.
Go ahead, Gamer.
I was gonna say it depends on like how offensive he was coming, right? You know, if he brings just high offense, 'cause like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like his game
Plus, it's
one lead
only
with the most of Vikavolt, he was going for the speed swap on Vikavolt. That's like super offensive, and Rocks probably wouldn't have helped me
or,
out there.
or
A few things I was surprised about. I was expecting like Cobra Berry on Volcarona, and Ockerberry on the Escavalier. But I think he was AV Escavalier. I don't actually know what item he was on the Volk. But yeah, that would have helped him a lot. And it was kind of like I was expecting the worst, and he didn't have it. So I managed to pick up the win 2-1 and avoid the metaphorical banana peel of losing to the monotype team. But I mean, like,
mm,
no shame on him. Like that team is nasty. Like I can definitely see him picking up wins this
Yeah, he'll
season.
bounce back, hopefully.
All right, so what game should we talk about next? Do you want to talk about yours, Gumer, before we go on to everyone else's?
or you guys are just it is just you went Ted, then you.
Yeah, and now we're on to you.
Yeah, sure. So I was facing Cardiff Kamalas, and they have like a super expensive uh, sun mode, um, and their support mons are both. Well, they have a couple different supports they could do. Like that's the thing is he had Tangrowth and Whimsicott, but with like Whimsicott, Charizard, and Teleon, like Cinderace, like my plan going in was kind of just get rid of the Cinderace or like reduce its damage with charms, and then like maybe Blissey could win in an end game because just with like that much firepower, like um it was just it was super hard to use like stack attacka like I guess Cinderace doesn't get any physical ground moves, but like Charizard can obviously had Scorching Sands as we saw, um and then it was special Cinderace, which was really interesting because once I saw that, I was like, "Oh, I'm definitely bringing Blissey now."
Yeah, that was the thing. He had
Um,
no physical threats after you found out that that was special.
hmm that was really nice. Um, yeah, game one, I he faked out the tornadoes and I maxed, so that was huge.
Yeah,
I misplayed a little bit because I didn't actually like. I haven't really used Gorge Geist that much, or I know low penny's 105 though. I knew it was base 105 speed, but like when I did an airstream in the low penny, then I was like, oh, well, surely after two airstream, two airstreams, Gorge Geist should outspeed, and then I'll just pick up the KO. But I got myself in a really risky situation at game one because instead of airstreaming and just taking the KO on the Lopunny, I went for the Cinderace and then just went for the Grassy Glide. But since I was supersized Gorgegeist, which is the slowest one,
yeah.
at plus two with like, I think I was adamant and just like 31 speed IVs, and so it was like I think at plus two I undersped it by like a couple points if it was max speed Jolly, which I figured it would be because otherwise he wouldn't be able to fake out Meowstic. Like I'd be able to fake out him first. Um, so that because if I would have just gone for the Lopunny and then had that plus two speed with Tornadus, Tornadus out naturally outspeed Cinderace. So even if he brings in Whimsicott and Tailwinds, I have two speed boosts, and then I'll still be faster than a Cinderace. So it was a little bit of a misplay because then he got the trick lagging tail off, and then that kind of hurt. But
I think
thankfully, thankfully I was able to switch up the speed at the end with that Sash Alakazam. So um, I know I talked to him after. He said he was, and then I had a little bit of a misplay too at the end because I could have I protected Alakazam when I forgot that he had Tailwind up, so I was like, oh, Alakazam actually in Trick Room, I would go first before Charizard or Whimsicott, but I forgot that he had still had Tailwind up while Trick Room was up, so that was kind of silly to protect because he could have reversed Trick Room with Whimsicott if he had it, and he said he did have it on originally, but took it off before the match, so.
I feel like in game one he pulled the trigger on the special Cinderace a bit late. Um, he let you get like a couple of airstreams off with Tornadus, which kind of like
Mm.
led to Gorge Geist doing the work it did. And yeah,
I
game
guess
two,
he didn't.
go on.
Sorry, I guess he didn't expect me to like max Tornadus right away because I was considering going into the race, and it did over half of his dynamic, I think. So I think Life Orb Tornadus would have just OHKO'd non-dynamic Cinder, and he didn't max turn when he taunted. And so if
Yeah,
I had just airstreamed him, oh man, that would have been a huge turn, especially considering he faked it me out with Lopunny. But like, um,
yeah, yeah. It's definitely not optimal for him to do that turn one. I think. Yeah, and in game two, Blissey, like he would have had to get super lucky with sleep turns. I think to ever turn that around.
well, the other thing was he flinched me earlier with an air slash, so I didn't get the initial calm mind. And then did I get? Can't remember
I think you had a one
what
turn
else
sleep at one
happened.
point.
Yeah.
The second one, I think it was. But yeah, and he hit both his sleep powders as well. So yeah, there was a lot more had to have gone his way to take game two. I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thankfully I got the charm off with Meowstic. I guess I could have faked out. It was probably silly faking out the Charizard, but I should have faked out the Tangrowth. Um, but or I could have just tried to get two charms off or something like that because I was full bulk Meowstic. Mm,
Sure.
So
So a
so
clean 2A for yourself into week two, which is nice.
I want to see some more Blissey action.
yeah, was definitely not planning on drafting it originally. So, but we'll see if we can make it work. It'll be fun.
All right, so if we just like work our way down the list now on the website,
Mhm.
Manatine and Toadfrog is one of the ones I was going to take to talk about because I did watch this one whilst I was painting this week. I haven't managed to watch every game because I've been busy, but this is one I did watch. Um, you guys watch this one?
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah, I also.
Kudetto really just like knew his win con before going in with Rhydon
Mm-hmm.
because like game one specifically, Taco didn't bring his only real answer to Rhydon, and that was Maractus. He
Mm-hmm.
went with the Delibird and maxed it with the hustle damage, but even like
Doing such minimal damage. I
yeah,
was like, oh my gosh.
I don't actually know, but I would have guessed that Rhydon was Eviolite as well. Um,
Oh, I like it had to be.
that damage was just like nothing, and Rhydon just kind of swept, especially when it started getting steel spikes off as well, just increasing its bulk.
Mm-hmm.
And then in game two, he did bring the Maractus, but I don't think Taco he needed to preserve it for the Rhydon, which he didn't. He let it go down, and then Rhydon came in and did the same thing again.
Yeah. Um, he delayed his max for a while that game, didn't he?
Yeah,
I think he just had to start going for it. Like take out the Finny, maybe. Just go for an overgrowth or something. Especially once he got the storm drain boost. I think he
yeah,
should have
yeah,
immediately maxed.
yeah. He
And then
switched
because
in
then
on the
you
Scold. Yeah,
force the ride on out, and even if your max is over by the time you get the ride on out, like you're faster than ride on. So I
and
think
you'd be
max
plus
is the way.
one. You'd probably have grassy terrain up.
Right.
You'd been doing a lot more damage at
Yeah.
that point.
And well, what's funny is well, not fun, but like I said that in the analysis or whatever draft analysis week zero thing. I was like, I think Mantan's team is just a little too physically. Like I said, they were intimidate weak, but it's the same thing as saying like they have too many physical mons.
Yeah,
And yeah, bringing Eevee like Rhydon with really good defense, like it was just like much for him to
and Dustnor was
break
throwing
through.
wisps out in at Corviknight, obviously
Yeah.
because he had the terrain up, but obviously if Corviknight being a flying
Mm-hmm.
type, he could wisp that. Um, yeah, so I think Kudela played really well.
Yep.
He knew his strat.
Mm-hmm.
So Toadfrost pick up the 2-0 win in week one, and we'll go on to the next fixture, which was the Somerville Scraggies versus the Ripley County Rhydons. This is a good game. Tense. Um,
Game three. Yeah.
yeah, I went to a game three, which is cool. We love to see a game three. Um, now, what can I say about this? What do I remember? So I remember the Rhydons maxed Swampert every game, I think. Um, yeah, if that my memory's right. And Tyler was talking about how he was worried about Swampert. But he had the Chinchino with the Bullet Seed. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Is it choice banded? I don't remember if it was choice banded or life orb.
I don't think it was banded. I think it was Expert Power. I remember him saying.
Okay.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but the Rhydons brought Scarf Zatu as well. Because I think he wanted Tailwind up for Swampert to just sweep. Um, so game one, the Rhydons actually won. Um, by going with the Swampert strat, because obviously going into like Mudsdale and Raichu is really good for Swampert. He also had fighting move for Vanillux and to boost his attack. Um, Talks great for a bit of support with coaching as well, which he managed to just boost Swampert up and take game one like that. But then game two, Mudsdale there with the 4 kills. Managed to just set up the Mudsdale with the same 4 actually that he brought. But yeah, the Scarf Zatu was kind of cool because he at one point he Sunny Dayed say that Moltres could use Solar Beam, which I thought was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and in game three, it was sort of the same. Machamp actually did a bit of work game three for Tyler to take out the Registeel. Um, I thought I thought the Rhydons misplayed at one point. I thought they were gonna topsy turvy the Mudsdale because I had all these boosts from quaking a few times, I think, and I thought he was gonna topsy turvy it, but he didn't. I'm not sure if he even brought it, but I thought we could have done that at one point. But overall, I thought it was a good game.
Yeah,
And
I thought one interesting interaction was when he attacked Mudsdale and gave him the stamina boost with somebody, and then Moltres burning Jealousy. I thought that was really interesting because
yeah, because then it burns him. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I don't know if that was like I don't know if that was part of his plan because me I was thinking like well you might as well run Wisp on Moltres, but maybe he just ran burning Jealousy just so he could hit like Nilix
Damage
and
as well.
stuff.
Yeah. There's
Like
also
yeah,
burn up. He brought burn up Moltres as well because
I think he yeah
there was a point where he used burn up and then Mudsdale used like Max Rockfall and Moltres survived,
survived.
which is
Yeah, it
pretty
was cool.
crazy.
And the I think the game three, so he was going with the Registeel Iron Defense, which I think was a good strat, especially since three of his mons were physical, but uh three of Scraggy's. Actually, maybe the Raichu was physical too. It might have been all four of them. The thing was, I think he switched Registeel out, Rhydon did, and when it had like an Iron Defense or maybe two up or something like that, and I think because I think Machamp and Mudsdale were on the field or something like that. I might be getting this wrong, but I think basically uh, he should have gone for either like a double protect to stall at max or just go for another iron defense and hope that Scraggy tries to read a switch out and doesn't go for him. Because
Yeah,
I don't think the Scraggies did that turn, and I think that was the Rhydon's win con was getting that Registeel boosted up. Um, I can't remember exactly how it played out now, but uh,
yeah. I remember the
if
Reg still being switched out with its boosts, which I thought was odd.
I don't think he got attacked that turn either. I don't think that slot was really attacked.
There was
Yeah,
another.
I also felt that way. Like he should have risked it and kept the right on in either. Like
Just,
Lokumer said, get the double, hope for the double protect or iron defense, and hope
because
for the
otherwise,
best.
he was just throwing
Mm-hmm.
away damage on something else. Um, there was a point where Machamp survived the air slash from Moltres because it was AV and didn't flinch, which is pretty important at that point, I think. 'Cause Stone Edge straight into Moltres after that took it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, well done to Tyler. 2-1 win, close one. I'm sure the Rhydons will bounce back. They seemed like a pretty knowledgeable battler from that game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Celesteelers and the Jeff City Seismitoad. Um, who wants to take this
I
one?
was going to talk about this one, wasn't he?
Ted.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I had to rewatch this game because I didn't quite remember what happened. But now that it's still fresh in my mind, I can go for it. So, um, from what I can tell, he led the Wombo led Archeops and Scrafty first game, which was a decent lead, having the intimidate factor on. And Archeops has a decent matchup against the Togekiss into Scorch and the Zoroark. Um, Now, as you know, Zoroark's ability is illusion. So, what the extra was actually the Zoroark. So, um, uh, having the illusion factor is a big deal for him. And Scorch just kind of just took care of the rest, honestly. Um, uh, Once I believe, I think it was the Scrimpy and Archeops went down, Metagross and losing Galar were only left. And that was pretty much the end of the game for game one. As for game two, it's pretty much the same thing. Since course just cleans up the Womble's team. This time having Septel on his side. So yeah, those were just the main two highlights, or the main from both games is just Sentis Corps cleaning up and
I'll
doing its
admit,
job.
I was confused for like a whole minute until I saw the Excadrill turn into Zoroark. I was like, what?
100%. I was like, it learns trick.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was like. I was like, no way.
Yeah,
I was like, no way would
yeah.
you carry the Flame Orb.
As soon as I saw Trick, like, oh, okay, that's the Zoroark. There's no way Extra learns Trick. That's definitely
I had
Zoroark.
no idea. I
Yeah,
was like, I don't use Excadrill that much. And I was like, I guess it does. I don't know. I was like, wow, support Excadrill. Interesting.
Yeah, I was like, no, it doesn't get Trick. There's no way it gets Trick. I was like, I didn't know that Zoroark was on the squad. I didn't like see the team preview or anything, so that didn't even cross my mind. But I was very confused. But yeah, he
Yeah.
did that turn one both games, didn't he? Managing to put the burn on Scrafty, I think. Um,
Yeah.
So yeah, because he kind of just left Scrafty alone the first game and just let him sit out there and not really do much because he just had like Brick Break and Snarl, but you don't care about like snarling, like smoke, on Senna Scorch. Like it's not
yeah,
gonna do anything, and then Brick Break isn't gonna do much either when you're burned and it's uh physical, and you can't reset Intimidate either. So I remember he switched him out at one point, and then I think switched him back in. It could have been game two, but no, I think he did switch him out because I think he tried to like,
I liked
reposition
what
and get
Womble
some more
was going
momentum,
for
but
though.
because Crafty wasn't doing much.
Meteor Beam Archeops
Huh?
was pretty cool. Because then he also could bring in the Weezing later if to avoid the Feetist on Archeops, which I thought was cool, but it just didn't really pull out. And although this looks like just an absolute smash in from the Center Scorch with like 7 kills, both games Center Scorch was the only thing left alive, so they actually were quite close games. But it just doesn't look that way when you look at it superficially.
But game
Oh,
one, I think Womble could have won because he Earth powered the Sand Scorch with
oh, and he
Archeops,
should have
but
air
he could have
slashed.
Air Slash.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, could I think was Cineswatch still maxed at the time, so I don't think the flinch
Slash.
was on. Oh, Goomer, you're breaking up a bit. Maybe I don't know. Unplug your mic and back in or something.
Yeah. Yeah. You're breaking up quite a bit.
Is it good now?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
Okay. Um. Yeah. The and then was the lead Sceptile game too? I can't remember.
I think it was Scrafty and something else, I believe again.
It was Scrafty Archeops again. I thought, and couldn't
Yeah,
he?
I think
I
I
think
think so.
I think he protected Archeops, but I don't know. Like he could have faked out Togekiss and just Meteor Beam the Sandskirch, and the Sandskirch maxed right away, and I feel like that would have just been game.
Yeah,
But I mean, maybe he was thinking that there was a Zoroark out there again. Zoroark was out there actually, because then he switched in the Togekiss, didn't he?
I do feel like what Womble Brawl was kind of extra draw weak though. Like still moves into Archeops. And like yeah, Scrafty can intimidate you, sure, but with the Togekiss being there as well, just like one fairy move kind of is gonna bot that. He brought Sceptile game two, I guess, to try and adjust, but Sceptile wasn't really an answer for Sun Scorch. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So Wobble got any water types on his draft? I can't remember his whole team.
He's got Golduck.
That could have been pretty good this week, I think. But yeah,
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
but
if he could set up rain.
I don't,
I don't know if he has the
I
rain
don't think,
setter.
I don't think the Excadrill had. I don't think there was a sand setter on Seismitoad's team. I can't remember. I don't think he has a sand set, and so he brought Mold Breaker Excadrill, and so he could have been like maybe Womble just kind of knew like, well, he's probably not going to be Sand Rush anyways, and like Archeops outspeeds and good special attack and like uh, Earth Power would do decent damage. Plus, you can intimidate with Scrafty. So.
yeah, yeah. All right. So yeah, the Jeff City Toads and Coach Oatmeal picks up a 2-0 win in week one. Good for them. One of the new coaches. So the next one that we haven't spoke about was Slowbros versus P Dubs. I haven't actually watched this. Has anyone?
Yeah, I watched it.
No, I haven't watched this one.
What? You guys are
Oh wait,
begging
no,
for
no, no,
content, and then
no.
they
I
put
did.
it out, and you're
I did.
not watching.
I did. I did. I did. I lied. I did watch this. I
Yeah, I
remember
haven't. I think this was the only one I haven't watched.
the Fungus. He maxed Thunderous game one.
The the clear smog was really cool. I was wondering if he was going to have that on Fungus.
And you had to really support Verzion, wasn't it? Wasn't it like
Uh,
coaching, taunt?
yeah.
I can't remember what else it had. Definitely had coaching and taunt. Um, but yeah, I do remember this now. Maybe not as well as you do, Gumer.
Well, I can't. I'm trying to think. Game one.
Didn't Exploud Max
I
game
can't.
one?
Yeah, yeah. He was kind of just kind of backed into a corner at the end. I feel like, and he just had to use Xcloud and max him. I don't know if I mean maybe he was planning on maxing Xcloud, but Xcloud isn't like super offensive. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, it's
And
special
then
offensive with hyper voice plus life orb.
Or Boom Burst, but like,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. I feel like generally like a bulky normal type max in is quite good unless you're versus like an aggro on Verzion, which he was. Um, but yeah, I remember Thunderous Max game one for the Blue Slavers. Game two, I'm not remembering so well.
game two, he I know that auto maxed the Aggron, and I know the pit odds were going for like a chancy minimize thing, but they also I'm trying to think what happened.
What was the indirect kill that Agron has? Sand or
I think it was Rockfall on the Zapdos, and he must have got sand kill somewhere. And um, the I'm trying to think what happened here because I remember like Rapidash didn't Rapidash. I remember it got slept by Fungus. I think it like reset Trick Room or something like that.
all right, yeah, Trick Room Rapidash, pretty
And
cool.
and, and I remember the Sneasel it did a fake out turn one, and then wasn't it like a eject button?
On the Sneasel,
I thought it was a eject button. Maybe that was a
maybe
different.
I'm not remembering it too well to be honest.
No, maybe might be someone else who has Weavile. Maybe that was Matrix. Um, but yeah, I just remember that he max knuckled the Chansey twice or something like that. And I remember the rapid Lumberry and it got spored and it woke up and then I think like reverse trick room or something like that.
Yeah, I remember Otto saying he heavily prepped for like the fungus. That's why like Verzion's so good. Obviously, being able to ignore all the powder and then Lum
Mm-hmm.
Rapidash. I suspect he's probably goggles on something else. But yeah,
Yeah.
managing to pretty confidently sweep through the P Dubs. And the current champ wins 2-0 in week one.
as expected.
I
All
should have
right.
rewatched the match. To be fair, I didn't. I didn't rewatch it because I thought Gumi was going to be here, but sadly he wasn't.
Yeah, so Gumi's game's next, which I actually watched earlier, so it's pretty fresh in the
I
mind.
can
But
I can do this one since I watched it 3 times already.
all right, go for it.
Yeah. So the basics, some of it was Mega leading game one. It was Suicune. No, it was Lando and Fairy game one. Um, which was a kind of decent lead since Gumi led Clefable and Slowbro, I believe, and then after after turn one, he switched out the Lando into Rotama, which did a decent. Slowbro used Ice Beam since it was an offensive Slowbro, which did a decent amount to Rotom, and then from then on, Suicune just
Ruined his life.
yeah, just ruined his entire team basically, and uh, with that happening, Lando just cleaned up for game one, and basically the same thing went on for game two. Suicune just absolutely rolled through Gumi's team with Snarl and crippling his Ludicolo and Moltres, and only just leaving the Clefable and Klefki left in the end game, which didn't quite go well for Gumi.
Yeah,
He was
his
quite
problem
upset
was
about that in the video if you didn't watch it.
he didn't bring any physical attackers versus like Suicune, which has very high Spadef and it was snarling, and Friend Guard. So like the bulk was just too much for him, I think, at that point.
Yeah.
Well, and that was one thing I said about Gumi's team is that it was a little too defensive, and he needed some more offensive pressure. And I think maybe that's why I traded for Sock. I don't know. Um, I still think he could use a little bit more offensive pressure than just Sock, maybe. But like, uh, yeah, I mean, and that's exactly what happened. Like, I feel like he was trying to play this kind of defensive game, maybe like get to a point where he can do follow me and nasty plot stuff. But like since the Suicune kept snarling, he was only getting a half
Barely
boost
like
each
treading
time,
water, wasn't
and
he? Yeah.
then yeah, that's exactly what it felt like. So
Yeah, even
um,
after the Berserk boost, he didn't do a whole lot to Mega's team.
he made a
Yeah.
good adjustment game too.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He could have. Somebody said it, but if he called the fly correctly, I think he could have won that game. He max geysered into the Lando when it did fly, and I think if he overgrowth the Suicune, um, maybe he could have done something there. I don't know,
Really,
or even
taking
then,
out the Suicune was key.
yeah,
So I would have prioritized that. I think he just saw like
definitely.
blood and was trying to go for it. So yeah, Mega takes the win over Gumi in game one, week one. Um, right, next one is the new.
Jealousness and the Luxray.
This was a good game. I can take this one if I enjoyed watching this one. Just like honestly, Kofagrigus just like out of nowhere destroying people.
5 kills, it's a lot.
Like I think the lead was the most misleading thing because I think like Mr. Mime Kofagrigus you're expecting like fake out Trick Room, but then um,
Mhm.
Cheesy led the Lele Feeble, an old favourite of mine, and just went for damage on Kofagrigus, but then he maxed, and we know how bulky Kofagrigus is, and didn't do enough, and then like a max ghost did just kind of wipe out Lele, whilst Mr. Mime was starting. I think he just gleamed at that point because he couldn't fake out, and he maybe got up screens. I can't actually remember right now, but
He just glued, I think, a little bit of damage on the Feeble.
yeah, the Thief had the +1 boost from the Psychic Seed though, so it wasn't doing too much. But then what I also liked about White Rabbit's prep is he abused Lele's terrain. He brought his own Psychic Seed Slurpuff, which kind of like
Yeah, that was
came in
cool.
at the end in both games and just kind of like helped sweep up with that speed boost, which is cool.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Yeah, and then like, okay, you have a boosted, um, you know, boosted Como. Like maybe he can turn this around, but like since that psychic train was still up, like um, if he had overgrowthed and changed the terrain, maybe he would have had a chance. Like the Cartana,
Yeah,
he maxed Cartana both games. Yeah.
yeah. I was surprised at the damage that Rodriguez was dealing to it as well. Easy to hit
Oh,
KOs.
Cartana has like I mean, maybe it was. I don't know what the spread was on the Kofaregus, but like Cartana has like 35 defense, and it wasn't AV. So, um, yeah, if you don't have AV on Cartana, any
Yeah,
mon with decent special attack should probably two hit KO with a stab move.
but Rodriguez was offensive. I think with the weakness policy as well. So
That's what was interesting is the knockoff. You can't knock off weakness policy on a ghost or a psychic because it procs it.
yeah,
So that was really cool.
he also had Sucker Punch on the Mr. Mime if he had to self proc, which I thought was cool, but he didn't in the end. But it was a nice bring nevertheless. You could tell White Rabbit's plan was to just go for it with Rodriguez.
Yeah, I was a little confused on the jealousness of their second game when they were just using coaching with a Hitmontop. Hitmontop is slower than Cortana, so like you're getting the boost
Too
after you
late,
attack,
yeah.
which isn't super ideal. I mean, obviously for the next turn you get it, but then like um
He was hitting him with special moves
he
anyway.
even yeah, but even so, the turn when Cobalion bounced, he went for a coaching, but it was like the speed order was like Kobalion or Kartana attacked, and then Hitmontop gave him a and then Kobalion
Yeah.
bounced, and then he got the coaching boost off, but then Rodriguez took out Kartana, and like he knew he was gonna die to another Max Ghost
Yeah, yeah.
because
It
so
didn't
I
work
don't know
half the
why
first
he
time.
didn't just close combat. I don't know why he didn't just close combat the um
Kabalion. But he would have bounced anyway.
Kobalion, yeah.
But
Well, no,
yeah.
I mean when he was coming down from the bounce,
Yeah.
like the turn 2 of the bounce.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then yeah, he just had a bunch of stuff that was weak to carry because I think the did the surplus clean up again? I can't remember, or was
It
it this
came in and
run?
picks up 1 kill in game 2, but
Yeah.
yeah, like the Komodo was just like and him on top. Like when you've got Stirpuff in the back, it's pretty safe. Just eliminate
Well,
the Kartana.
yeah.
I bet no one would have bet on Kofagrigus being in the top 3 kill leaderboard after week 1.
Mm. Yeah, we'll see how long it stays there. Hopefully for a while.
Be
It,
nice to
it, it
see.
won't be. It'll be facing me. It has no chance.
Oh, no chance. Okay.
Foresight on the Licky Licky.
Of course, with Liggy Licky, nothing stands a chance except for playoffs.
Alright, so Welsh Warlords versus the Suffolk Suicune. Um, I did watch. Yeah, I did watch this game. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched this one as well.
I actually
And
spoke to Toots a little bit beforehand, and he said Gardevoir's going to do work this week, and it did.
oh, he has like 6 fairy weaknesses.
Yeah. Matrix was aware of that. But yeah, like game 1, he led 4. Like what he brought 4 mons weak to Fairy.
Mm-hmm.
Dragonite, Sableye, Shiftry, Terrakion, and that's just kind of what happened, really. I mean, Gardevoir only got 2 kills game 1,
I
but
think he But didn't he? I think he said in his game, like replay, didn't he say he forgot that Kangaskhan can fake out Sableye with Scrappy?
yeah, Scrappy fake out, yeah.
But kind of
Yeah, he forgot.
like
Got the
screwed
Scrappy.
up his turn 1. Yeah, so that kind of messed with his strategy. But then he adjusted. That was nice.
Yeah, game 2, Dragonite did the work. Managed to clutch out a pretty tight win in game 2. But in game 3, I feel like wait, no, game 2 he led the Weevil Terrakion, right? I think, and kept Dragonite in the back and maxed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dragonite was the last thing left, and then yeah,
But then
it barely
game
squeaked out a win against Scizor.
game 3 he brought the Sableye again, and I think he was just kind of like snookered into the same situation where Kangaskhan could fake it out.
I think he could have. Yeah, but I think he could have won game 3 potentially. I think he needed to max Rapidash.
Yeah, that could have worked. I
I
mean,
think because Rapidash had Smart Strike, and like it would have done well against Gardevoir and Aerodactyl. I mean, I guess the thing about Aerodactyl is if he can maneuver the Sableye around and get like a quash off. I mean, he knew it had weakness policy, but if you give Rapidash a defense boost, I mean, I bet it doesn't die to a max Rockfall, and then Steel Spike will still do damage afterwards. Or you just don't even proc the weakness policy on Aerodactyl and just
didn't
you know.
Toots max Gardevoir though every game? Am I remembering that right?
I think he did, but I'm saying if he was going to max
Yeah,
Aerodactyl, like, um,
yeah, yeah.
because once the Gardevoir is maxed, Gardevoir is not going to do too much to Rapidash. I mean, I guess if it Mindstorms, yeah, but I think the max Starfall's on the other slot. That's weak to Fairy is just too tempting. So if he had max Steel Spike the Gardevoir, and then his defense, because
The Gardevoir
uh,
was policy, wasn't it?
Aerodactyl was paused.
That was policy. Okay.
Yeah, Aerodactyl was policy, and it outspeeds and has like Ice Fang and I can't remember if it had Earthquake or something like that, but I know it had Ice Fang and Rock Slide.
Oh, and didn't he like break the multi scale on Dragonite with like a bullet punch or a fake out or something? Um, so then he could then just knock it out.
Yeah, that might have happened. I don't remember game three as well, but I just feel like I remember Rapidash being like his potential max option isn't out. I think he still ended up max every night.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, but yeah, an interesting set which Toots took 2-1, which like we didn't never seen Toots play, so you can't really say it's an upset, but like we kind of expect Matrix to do well usually. But I'm sure he'll bounce back and
Mm-hmm.
have a good season. Um, yeah, on to the next one. Uh, only two more left.
Returning champion, or this game was
This
previous champion.
this is the one I haven't watched. I'm afraid. It was posted kind of early week when I was moving house, so I didn't have time to watch it. And then I got spoiled, so I didn't
Oh.
have the motivation to watch it. So
Mm, I can go
who?
over it.
Go on then.
Yeah, I watched it. Game one, it was the Ndidi Kadabra lead, um, and he was just going for
Slice
like
Palm.
high spam stuff, and the Romantans had Gallade Gigalith, and they went for the Bulldoze weakness policy proc, and then Max Rockfall, I believe. What's funny is that Ndidi and Kadabra both outsped Gallade, and one of them got a crit on the Gallade, which I think mattered, and so the Glade didn't get the Bulldoze off, so he didn't get the weakness policy off on Gigalith. And I think it was actually like a double crit, like it crit the Gigalith and the Glade. There was just crits all over the place, which was just hilarious. And then the Flygon, I remember like because I think he maxed Rockfall the Kadabra and just took it out, and then I think the Flygon was sitting out there for a while, and um, it ended up it was sitting out there for a while, and it was just doing damage, and the Lapras, he maxed the Lapras, um, and just hitting stuff with strong ice moves. I was very surprised he didn't have freeze dry, but I guess he said he didn't have time to breed it. But he still managed to take out the Primarina with it. But so squeaked out a win game one. Honestly, probably because of the crit, um, the side spam stuff, and then the Dormanitans game two was pretty wild. The again led the Ndidi Kadabra, but the Dragapult went for a Phantom Force into the Ndidi, and I think the Gigalith like maybe protected, and then he might have just maxed the Gigalith after that, but then turn two, the Kadabra used Ally Switch, and then so it died to the Phantom Force. It was nutty. I was like, oh my goodness. Um, but I guess what's nice about I guess I guess what's a good move with doing that is when you see the Dragapult, if you have Ally Switch, you could do like a little bit of a mind game of doing it turn one. So like for example, if he went for the Max Phantasm into Kadabra and he Ally Switch, it would do nothing. But if he Phantom Forces and he Ally Switches, well, then he's probably thinking, "Oh, I'm safe. I don't need to Ally Switch again," because like he probably targeted the Kadabra.
Yeah.
So he actually had two turns to like get the ally switch essentially, and but again, it had never been shown. So he was still making a huge read that it had ally switch, which going up against a Dragapult, I guess, is kind of a fair assumption. Um, because it feels pretty safe because you have to target one or the other. Um, so that was a huge read, and then I think the Blazikens could have actually done something. I think they like I remember with the Morpeko, they aura wheeled the Dragapult when they were in electric form, and then they died to the Gigalith maybe in the same turn or something like that. But all I remember thinking is if the Morpeko aura wheeled the other slot, like the Gigalith or whatever, and took it out, and then got the speed boost, and then now they're dark type with Aura Wheel. Then they Aura Wheel the Dragapult, and they're faster than it. Then they could have like gained some momentum back.
Yeah.
I think they could have done something there, but no, it didn't end up working out. And then game 3 was also kind of interesting. The Togepi came out. Um, I would have thought that he would just start going for max steel spikes with the Caparajah, but I remember he max Starfall the Togepi when it was like Togepi Dragapult out there. Um, Even though he could have just like I think the Dragapult max Wormwinded the Indeedee and then lower the Caparajah's attack, but then the Indeedee expanding forced and the Togepi follow me, and the Caparajah max Starfalls. But I guess maybe he was trying to make like Rita protect from the Togepi or something like that. I still
Yeah.
think getting up the Steel Spike boost against a Dragapult, it's like it's good either way. So, um, so like max Star falling that gets rid of your Psychic terrain, and it I don't know.
I mean,
I
game
don't know
three
if that was
still looks
necessarily the
like it
right
was
play.
pretty close. It looks like Primarina was the only thing left alive on the Darmanitan side.
It was funny because it would end up being Lapras versus Primarina, and he ended up freezing the Primarina, but then the
Oof.
Primarina immediately thawed
Wow.
and won. But like the other thing is if the Lapras had either Thunder or Freeze Dry, I think it would have had a chance. But he didn't have either of those. So
Interesting.
um, yeah, if he had either of those, I think he would have still had a chance, which is pretty interesting. But uh,
So, our other returning champion, since he missed last season, but he won the season before, he managed to win in week 1, and now we've got one more game to go over, which is T-Star Sources versus the Ninja Squirtles, which you can go over again, Goomer, if you wanted. I did watch this one.
yeah, I just rewatched this before coming on.
I've never seen Celesteela perform badly in a draft match.
So that's the thing is I think like Celesteela against Glacier is a really good matchup. Um, and so I think the thing is like you can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna max, and like take out Celesteela with like either a neutral hit or just like, oh, a max mon super effective. Like you've got to get like a weakness policy off or something. Like it is so bulky. So in game one, I know Ninja Squirrels say he lost to a crit. I still think Celesteela would have had like, or I still think Sauces could have won though, because what happened was Celesteela and Glacier both. Oh, so Mimikyu set up Trick Room, and Celesteela got a special attack boost because it killed Noivern with a flash cannon, and then so Turtles gets a free switch into Glacier, and he maxes Glacier, and Sauces maxes Celesteela, and he was like Choice Scarf Crook, so he switches out Crook for Emolga, and then he goes for the Steel Spike into Glacier. Glacier goes for the um, Max Ice into Celesteela. And with Life Orb Glacier, it did half of Celesteela's Dynamax. So it's a 2-shot.
Yeah.
But Celesteela moves after Glacier. Since it was Life Orb, like it's not getting a weakness policy boost or anything. And with a Steel Spike boost, it's not a 2-shot. So once he gets that first Steel Spike off, even though he did crit and one-shot the Dynamax Glacier,
He wouldn't have
because he
killed it
was
next
plus
turn.
1 special attack, he wouldn't have killed. Yeah, he wouldn't have like Ninja Squirrels would have needed a crit to get back in it because he would have needed a crit through Celesteela's defense boost. Because since they both maxed, they can't stall out a max either. It's like you could just Steel Spike the slot, and even if Glacier had Protect, in turn 3, it just it gets taken out. Because even if he like, because Mimikyu had Shadow Claw, I think, and like that was doing hardly anything to Celesteal also. So I don't even think 2 Shadow Claws, even if he went for it, would take out Celesteal with a defense boost and another max ice. So I think Sauces still kind of had it, because then the other thing was Choice Scarf Crook in the back always beats Entei. So
Yeah.
yeah.
He didn't get to use
And then
Walrein.
game 2, yeah, that's true, and he still had Walrein, which It was probably thick fat, and so um, it would have been fine against Entei as well. But uh, yeah, then game two, he went with the Spectrier and Purloin, which I thought was interesting because he knew Glacier was Life Orb, so he knew he wasn't like Lumberry or White Herb, but he still went for the Charm Will-O-Wisp into the Glacier slot, doubled it, and then allowed the Mimikyu to, I think it's Swords Danced. Um, and then he and then the next turn he switches in the um the next turn he switches in the Jolteon to get the quick feet boost for the Willis, which I thought was really really cool. Um, and then
Yeah, I thought that was smart because that also
I mean
covers
basically what
like
ended up happening is
I thought yeah the quick feet was smart because it also covers being faster than Celesteela after like some like airstreams.
return
Um,
boost. Yeah, and he was actually faster than the Choice Scarf Crook too. Then, but he was, and if they were both max speed, he was speed tied Bacteria. But uh, basically, Colossus just ended up axing Celesteela again, and um,
yeah,
he swapped out. He had it next to Crook, and so then with Celesteela and Crook out, like he was just throwing off Choice Scarf Earthquakes and Steel Spiking, and Squirtle's maxed Entei, and like I don't even know if it had a Steel Spike boost at this point, but it max flared into the Celesteela, and it did like 30 to 40% of his Dynamax health. Like
yeah.
it didn't even do that much. Like that's why I'm saying like you can't just like throw a max move off into Celesteela. You have to prep hard for it because and then after a Steel Spike boost, even then it was just eating hits left and right, and the Crook was just destroying things with Choice Scarf Earthquake. So
Then the Jolteon also with the quick feet boost faster than the Crocodile, it yawned into the Celesteela rather than just like trying to get more damage on it, which he kind of desperately needed. I mean, the yawn wasn't a bad play at all, but I don't think he was ever killing Selly, so I don't really know what he could have done
mm-hmm.
at that point.
He never max guarded with Entei, so I wonder if maybe he was AV Entei. I'm not really sure,
Yeah, I'm not sure.
but yeah, with
Did
a yawn, like you'd want to typically stall out, and
yeah.
maybe he did at
So
one point. But
that's
yeah, it was
the T-Stars winning 2-0. Yep. That's every game from week one. We've just gone over. Like I said, we're not going to do like what we did last season where we give our predictions and thoughts on the matchups because that kind of just takes a long time. We're just going to have a quick look at the
yeah
predictions channel on the Discord.
yeah I think that's good.
Still there, Ted?
Yeah. And yeah, I just had to clear my voice for a bit.
So looking at the
One,
go ahead.
I was gonna say one last thing to credit to the Ninja Scrolls, which I thought was really cool, was Saki even mentioned it. It was like the lead of Mimikyu Noivern was really cool because he gets the frisk off, but then also he can
Tailwind or
go for
Trick Room, yeah,
Tailwind,
yeah.
Tailwind or Trick Room, or like even like a Boom Burst thing or something like that. Um, Mimikyu doesn't mind being a Tailwind either, so he doesn't even have to switch out for somebody. He can even keep him in. So like, I thought that was a really cool lead there.
Yep, true.
We can go the
So yeah, we're looking at the predictions channel quickly now, and I'm just going to read out what the popular vote is at the moment. Um, so in the Scraggies versus the Celesteelas, Scraggies winning that vote. Seismitoad Manitans, we've got the Jessie Seismitoads winning that vote. Toad Frogs and the Rhydons, we've got Kudella and the Toad Frogs winning that vote. We've got the current champ Otto versus the Monobug team, and Otto's winning that vote. There's a few votes for the Bug team though. Oh, you're one of them, Goomer.
I'm one of them. Look,
Interesting.
I want to give the Bugs confidence. I think they could
Yeah,
do
they
something.
need some confidence.
P-Dub's Bashers, you're unanimously winning that vote. Myself, the Ice Cubes versus the Kamalas, I'm winning that vote. Umbreon's Jellicents, Umbreon's Luxuries, Licky Leakies. The Luxuries are actually winning that vote. I,
Just by two, though. It's not a
What
lot.
do you mean? What do you mean
I still
actually
there's still
win
some
that
hope.
vote?
well, no, yeah, that's no disrespect. I just meant because Ted's right there. I wanted to hear Ted's reaction.
Yeah,
I,
I'm not too surprised, but once we go into this match later on, I'll explain why I have a
I
chance.
I did actually vote for Luxury, so yeah, I'm not like saying
Yeah,
it's a
same.
surprise. Whoa, wait, is that Gumi?
Yeah.
Hey,
Gumi's turned up right at the end.
Luxury's going 8-0. I'm calling it right now.
it's not. I'm gonna try so hard. I'm gonna prevent him from doing that. I'm gonna try so hard.
Gumi,
Okay.
are you calling the Luxrays going in, or are you calling Ted choking, or both?
No, I think Luxury's are just going to take clean 2-0. I mean, Ted is an amazing player, but yeah, I just think Luxury's are just too broken.
I'm not gonna choke. I can say that.
Yeah, you said that last week. Right, so we've actually got a tie.
Well, it's different. It's the Porygon 2, okay? It threw me off.
Physical Porygon 2 maxing.
Yeah, that was pretty heat. Um, Gumi, you're actually tying with Wait, don't say anything. This game's already been played, hasn't it?
It has
Yeah,
already been played.
yeah, it's already been played.
All right, we
The
won't say anything right
prediction was
now.
tied.
It was a
Yeah.
tied prediction, yeah. Interesting. We'll talk about that next week. Um, Blaziken Squirtles. This is quite interesting since both these teams coming off the back of losses. Blaziken's winning that vote versus the Squirtles. Um, our
Oh, the
premier.
Squirtles are winning that vote. It's like
Oh,
fun.
sorry, I got my icons mixed up. Yeah, the Squirtles are winning that vote. You're right. My bad.
Yeah.
Um, our premier for this week, the Tetar Sources versus the Welsh Wailords, currently has the Sources winning the vote, and Darmanitans. This is the Norwegian Darmanitans versus Suffolk Suicune, and we've got the Darmanitans winning that vote. So I like looking back to see who did anyone lose their vote. Apparently I didn't vote at all on this game, but we'll go with that. So
I think
oh,
I
I
think
mean,
the I think the I think the anybody who won last week was basically voted on.
except Womble.
I think no, I mean in terms of like not voted on. I mean who like is the winner of the like Scraggy's has more votes than Womble in their match. Scraggy's won last week.
Oh, I see. You're on about this week's. Yeah.
This week's predictions. Anyone who won last week, it looks like was voted on,
Yeah.
like to be the winner this week as well.
Yeah.
Except for like the matches where you have two people who lost, or two people who won facing each other. I think the Toad Frogs Rhydons one is really close, which is interesting. But Rhydons did bring it to game 3, I guess. So
Yeah, I'm just looking at the week one predictions to see if we were wrong as a group collectively. I mean, the Licky Licky's Rebellion was a tie. Pretzel's Umbreon was a tie. Jellicent's Luxuries was a tie. Holy shit.
I
Wailords.
yeah,
Outside of the
I guess
ties,
you're right.
it was just the Celesteelers and the Wailords lost when they were quite highly pipped to win.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting to look back at. I think we could do that each week. But I mean, Goomy, you kind of came in right at the end because we're kind of done right now. What I will be showing now is the PR image, which I put in our group chat if you wanted to look at it. But
24th is my favorite place to be.
you're actually 23rd though.
Ah, okay. Well,
Yeah.
it's my second favorite place to
23rd.
be.
Yeah, I
Supposed to
mean,
be 24th.
oh, I got it wrong, but whatever. I mean, anyone in the bottom kind of just like lost
Yes.
0 and 2.
Yeah.
I think the raw place to be looking is the top 4 really. We've got Otto at number 1. They all won their games 2-0, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. So did
I
Lucian
think one
and
through
Oatmeal.
8.
1 through 8 won 2-0.
Yeah.
And then there's 2-1
9
wins
through
13.
12.
No, 12. 9 through 12.
Yeah.
Obviously, only 12 teams could have won this week. So yeah, 9 through 12, 1, 2, 1. Then the lost 1-2, and then the lost 0-2. So yeah, keep an eye on this image. We'll be updating it every week. For those new coaches who are watching this, this is something we will be doing weekly and updating this. We kind of said we're gonna like update the placements for the first couple of weeks, and then once we see a bit of form, maybe week 3, week 4, we're gonna do a full re-ranking, so it doesn't matter what your previous position was. So yeah,
Right. So yeah. So even like a team that's 1 and 2 could be above a team that's 2 and 1, just depending on like how well they played or how, you know,
yeah,
how close some of the wins are. Maybe you won a game off of crit, and it's like, yeah, we get that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely take form more into account in the later weeks, because right now you just can't tell based on one set.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna be it for this week, guys. Peep our new intro, which we've got. What did you think of the new
Awesome
intro?
intro. Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah, super sick.
And yeah, we'll be back next week. See you guys next time. Say goodbye,
Yep.
guys.
Yeah.